Good morning, all of you. I hope audio and video both are working fine. So please confirm those who are online. ସମସ୍ତଙ୍କୁ ଶୁଭ ସକାଳ, good morning, ଜୟ ଜଗନ୍ନାଥ. So today is 16th May. So we'll start today's discussion. Okay. So first देखिबा ଆମେ आरंभ बैच विषय में आपन को कहिछि. चलंतु स्टार्ट करियो. Today's news first. Climate finance taxonomy. India's birth rate declines. National esports championship 2025. E-methanol. Wholesale price inflation and Indus water treaty. One-liner. Central Consumer Protection Authority. Operation Black Forest. International Family Day. Bhargavastra, Neeraj Chopra and Article 142. Okay, so let's start. So apart from this, we have Odisha related current affairs as well. The first thing, climate finance taxonomy. The Department of Economic Affairs of the Union Finance Ministry has recently released a draft document on the climate finance taxonomy. Although a topic को हमें आगरू भी cover करते climate finance taxonomy. This follows the announcement in the Union Budget 2025, 24-25 that a classification system would be developed to promote availability of capital for climate mitigation and adaptation. Climate mitigation and adaptation. Okay. So climate change को आखिर अगर रखी we have a fund and the जोटा का मैं कहूँ climate finance taxonomy. Okay. Climate finance taxonomy. So let's see. India's classification is the latest in a series of initiative across various regions, establish classification system for defining sustainable economic activities, including classification system already established or under development in the European Union, UK, Singapore, Hong Kong, Canada, and Australia. So climate finance taxonomy in the sense, I have already explained this before as well. There is a kind of what you call difference between this or difference of opinion with respect to this climate finance or climate change between the developed and developing countries. Developing countries says developed countries are responsible for this climate change, as we have seen yesterday class also. There is a decline of glacier or melting of glaciers. And why there is a melting of glacier? Because of the rise of average temperature of the earth. Why there is a rise of average temperature of the earth? Because of the carbon emission by the burning of fossil fuel and all. So what developed countries says, developed countries also claiming or blaming on those emerging or developing countries, India, China, Brazil. These countries are considered as the emerging countries and they are burning more fossil fuel than the developed countries. So this developing countries also saying, you people or the developed countries in their growth path, they have already burned a lot of fossil fuel. Now it's time for us. We need to develop our country. We need to provide livelihood opportunities for our people. So you cannot stop us. So better you people help us in achieving this. If you want, then you can invest in our green energy program as well, clean energy program as well. So this kind of negotiation keeps on going whenever there is a climate change conference. Climate change conference, international level, this is a negotiating factor. So, a climate finance taxonomy be exactly same thing. India's climate action is based on several key aspects. The first one is a nationally determined contribution. What is this nationally determined contribution? That means at the national level, how much India wants to contribute with respect to this mitigation of climate change, right? How much investment India wants to do in the green energy? How much investment India wants to do so that we should have an alternative fuel? Alternative fuel in the sense कि instead of fossil fuel हमें hydrogen केमती आनी कैसे जेमती ethanol blending हमें करूँचे. So all these alternatives हमें तकु को. India has set several targets in the NDC submitted to the United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change, that is UNFCCC. UNFCCC, such as reduction in emission intensity of GDP. Reduction in emission intensity of GDP, that means how much or the percentage of the total emission of GDP that should decline, or that should be declined. Okay, that means we need to step one by one, or we need to go ahead one by one. So increasing power generation capacity from non-fossil fuel or non-fossil energy. Non-fossil means green energy. Okay, fossil means those natural gas, coal, etc. Petroleum. Non-fossil, that is alternative energy, that is clean and green energy. Creation of additional carbon sink. What is this carbon sink? We need to afforest, or we need to create more forest, so that forest can absorb the carbon emission which has been done by the industries. Okay, so that step also needs to be taken. So first one is reduction in the emission of carbon. Second, alternative fuel. Third, carbon sink, that means more forest so that they can absorb carbon. National Action Plan on Climate Change, NAPCC, it is a mission mode approach to India's development and combating climate change. National Action Plan on Climate Change, if you have studied in the environment segment, environment ecology, this National Action Plan on Climate Change, which has been, or the initiatives that are taken by the government of India. And there are 8 such mission or initiative. What are those initiative? We'll see. So it focuses on solar energy. That means, for example, the scheme which we call the rooftop solar energy, that up to 300 units of free electricity if you install solar on your rooftop. So this is one such initiative. Water, energy efficiency, forest, sustainable habitats, sustainable agriculture, Himalayan ecosystem, strategic climate change areas. So these are the few areas where we are focusing upon, right? Focusing upon. Diversified energy mix. India is focusing on renewable energy, bioenergy, nuclear energy and storage solution. Renewable energy, wind, solar, etc. Bioenergy, for example, biofuel, what we call blending of ethanol, right? Nuclear energy, we are also establishing nuclear power plants. But let me tell you, nuclear power plants, or the installation of nuclear power plants, has been declined in case of developed countries. Now, we developing countries have started adopting that. Because if you see the Germany, France, these countries, once they were dominated with this nuclear energy, although it is alternative of the fossil fuel. You do not have to burn this coal, natural gas, oil, etc. This is an alternative, but that is, again, it's not safe. Recently, you might have seen the news of Pakistan. So what exactly the detail, no one knows, but it generally says in this India attack on that particular hill in the Pakistan, so there was some nuclear addition. Okay, so this could be a threat for our country. So we need to see the alternative, jota ki clean, safe, okay, that is solar, wind, etc. So storage solution is another factor. If you see in case of renewable energy, for example, sun or solar energy, wind energy, we have the capacity to produce, but the only problem is to store it so that we can supply it at the time of need. So that also we are developing storage solution. By February 2025, non-fossil fuel sources account for 47.4%. Non-fossil fuel, that means alternative to fossil fuel, right? Alternative to fossil fuel, which is 47.4%. The total installed electricity generation capacity, which includes solar power, that is 21.8%, wind power, that is 10.3%, and hydropower, that is 10%. Okay. Now, climate finance classification required. India has made a commitment to nationally determined contribution and net zero emission by 2070. So, under the NDC, we have a target of what? Net zero emission. Net zero means there is no carbon emission or zero carbon emission by 2070. 2070 sudah we will achieve that target. We have set a target under NDC. To meet this goal, climate investment and support is needed. To meet the NDC targets by 2030, India needs about 2.5 US dollar trillion, 14-15 prices. According to Niti Aayog, India needs to invest about 250 billion US dollar every year for energy transition till 2047. So broader target is zero emission by 2070, but till 2030 also, if we look towards this target of, or as per the NDC target, simply the 2030 sudha we need to spend this much amount of money. So that is a challenge, and that is the reason Government of India is looking for this climate finance. It's getting fund from the developed countries, international institutions, generates own revenue. Okay, so these are the aspects. Adaptation action will be needed to cope with the effects of climate change, which include agriculture, forestry, water resources, infrastructure, ecosystem. Adaptation means, since climate change is the reality, we need to adapt that. As I have already told you, if you see the island countries, they are about to submerge. So the only alternative is to relocate them, rehabilitate them. And for that, they need money. So who will provide that? Obviously, developed countries will finance that, because they are the prime responsible or prime accused in this climate change. Okay. So role of climate finance, with an aim to increase availability of capital for climate adaptation and mitigation, India has decided to develop a climate finance taxonomy to mobilize the required capital and encourage investors. So this climate finance taxonomy main purpose is what? To gather fund, or to arrange the fund which can be used for this climate finance. Next, India's birth rate decline. The Sample Registration System SRS Statistical Report 2021 released by the Registrar General of India has revealed that birth rate in some states is declining much faster than the national average. Okay, the Sample Registration System SRS Statistical Report 2021 released by the Registrar General of India, Sample Registration System Statistical Report 2021, which has been released by the Registrar General of India. What is the finding? Finding is birth rate in some states is declining much faster than the national average. National average birth rate, as per the SRS 2021 data, All India crude birth rate stood at 19.3%, 19.3 per thousand people in 2021. This is the birth rate as per the 2021 data, declining at a rate of 1.12% every year from 16 to 21. Solar equis 16 to 21, every year it's declining 1.12%. Southern states have seen a steeper decline. The report highlights that Tamil Nadu, Delhi, Kerala have seen a decline in birth rate that is twice the national average. Birth rates in these states are declining at a rate of more than 2% every year. So Tamil Nadu, highest one. That is the reason these southern states are saying, I think you must have seen the news of this, what is called, there will be an increase in the number of seats in the parliament. The representation from jo demarcation havaku jauchi, delimitation what we call basically. So it is an estimated number is something around 700 to 800. So although 700 to 800, but if you see the number of representative from the south country, and this delimitation of constituency is on the basis of what? Population. Since northern belt, northern states is having more population, so obviously they will get more representation as per the delimitation on the basis of population. So this southern country, specifically you might have seen the Chief Minister of Tamil Nadu, he has raised this objection because southern states are taking this population control very seriously. They are taking action, they are spending money on them, but still they are in disadvantageous position in with respect to this delimitation thing which will be held in our country to increase the representation of population. So that is their objections. So this is the reality actually. You can connect with that. So if you see this southern states are declining at a rate of more than 2% every year. So if you see the Tamil Nadu, it is 2.35%. In case of Delhi, it is 2.23%. In case of Kerala, it is 2.05%. Okay. Now, total fertility rate has remained stable at 2.0. TFR means how many children are born per woman on an average. How many children are born per woman on an average. Okay. Now, states with slowest decline in the sense, काफी decline तो है काफी marginally, very less. Okay. Rajasthan only 0.48, Bihar 0.86, Chhattisgarh 0.98, Jharkhand, Madhya Pradesh and Uttar Pradesh. Okay. So southern states are performing well in terms of population control. Reasons for declining fertility level. There can be many reasons for the decline in the fertility level. You can add these points in GS paper 1, the society section. GS paper 1, Indian society. So what are those factors or reasons behind this declining in the fertility level? First one, there can be many reasons for the decline. First one, urbanization and increased education of women. Urbanization, this is one aspect, and increased education. Now women are more career oriented. So few years ago, at least if you see the before 10-15 years, women are generally, once they are at the age of marriage, and parents simply कौन करते थे बाहर करे दो थे, so let's get married. But now they are career oriented. They want to financially independent. So it's, I mean, marriage is not priority for them. So this is one aspect. So increased education, they are taking degrees, they are enrolled in the higher educational institutions. Now they are more career oriented. Improvement in the health services, okay, and family planning measures are also being taken. Awareness have been created. Economic changes, increasing participation of women in the workforce, financially independent. So this is something declining the fertility rate. Clear? Data based on CRS 2021, the report based on the civil registration system CRS 2021 shows that several states have witnessed an increase in the number of registered births, such as increase in the births in Bihar, Rajasthan, Uttar Pradesh and Uttarakhand. This is, we have already seen, although there is a decline, were very marginal. Okay. So increase in births in Bihar, Rajasthan, Uttar Pradesh, Uttarakhand, while the trend of decline in registered births continue in southern states such as Andhra Pradesh, Tamil Nadu, Karnataka, Kerala, Telangana, witnessed an increase in births. Gross fertility rate, as per the SRS 2021, India's gross fertility rate stood at 1, which means that on an average, each woman produces one daughter who survives to reproductive age. So gross fertility rate is what? As per SRS 2021, India's gross fertility rate stood at 1 only, which means that on an average, each woman produces one daughter who survives to reproductive age. The gross fertility rate, if you see, was higher than the national average in some states. Bihar 1.4, Rajasthan 1.2, Uttar Pradesh 1.3. Okay. Sustainable Development Goals and progress. The SRS 2021 report also mentioned that states like Kerala, Maharashtra, Tamil Nadu have achieved United Nations Sustainable Development Goals target on maternal mortality rate. That means that has been declined. MMR has been declined. Under 5 mortality rate, under 5 years of age from birth, and neonatal under 1 year till birth. Okay. So in these 3 category, these states, Kerala, Maharashtra and Tamil Nadu, they have achieved the target given by the Sustainable Development Goals. Okay. Next, National Esports Championship 2025. The National Esports Championship 2025 is being organized by the Esports Federation of India. The championship will be organized by the International Esports Federation. The Indian team for the BRICS Esports Championship 2025 has also been finalized by the Esports Federation of India. BRICS Sports Championship among the BRICS countries. Okay. The championship will be held from 28th May to 3rd June 2025 at the VK Play Arena in Moscow, Russia. In Moscow. It is a major international esports competition organized by the International Esports Federation. Let me tell you, whenever or whatever may be the news regarding BRICS, be careful, because most of the cases they generally ask questions from the BRICS. First of all, you should know how many countries are there in BRICS, what are those important initiatives, although every year or every second year they generally meet and they finalize something, but those important initiatives, let's say NDB Bank is there, New Development Bank, which has been initiated by the BRICS countries only. Okay, so such important news you should remember. So this is what another important news, BRICS Esports Championship 2025. So Esports Federation of India, let's see, the founding year, the foundation year is 2016. 2016, full name Esports Federation of India, establishment non-profit organization under the Section 8, headquarter New Delhi, Companies Act 2013, main objective to promote esports as an organized sports in India. Okay. Founded in 2008 in collaboration with 9 countries, International Esports Federation. So in India, it was established in 2016. If you see in international, it is 2008. Headquarter, Busan, South Korea. Current president, Prince Faisal bin Bandar bin Sultan Al Saud. Since October 2023, member countries are 151 by 2025. International Esports Federation. Next, E-methanol. European energy ready to scale E-methanol output at world's largest PTX plant. Okay. World's first commercial scale E-methanol plant started in Denmark. Denmark is the first country who started this commercially E-methanol. What is this E-methanol? Let's say electromethanol is a new, clean and low carbon fuel. So sometimes they can ask you, this is new, clean and zero carbon. It's not zero carbon, it's low carbon. It is made by mixing hydrogen and carbon dioxide. So carbon dioxide component is there, so that is the reason it's low carbon fuel. It uses green hydrogen, hydrogen made from renewable energy and captured CO2. Okay, so it is made from green hydrogen. I think you know this green hydrogen, gray hydrogen. Okay, so this is green hydrogen and low carbon content because of the mix of CO2. Green hydrogen production. Hydrogen is produced by electrolyzing water using renewable energy such as solar or wind. Hydrogen is produced by the electrolyzing water using renewable energy such as solar or wind. CO2 capture. Carbon dioxide emitted from factories is captured, can also be taken directly from the air. So what they are doing, those industries are emitting CO2, they are simply capturing it, or they are taking from the air directly. So this is one part. Second part, methanol synthesis. Hydrogen and CO2 are combined in a special reactor to produce methanol. Okay, it's not ethanol but methanol, electromethanol. Electromethanol, electrolyzing water using renewable energy, that is solar or wind. Advantages, it can be used without changing the infrastructure. So whatever infrastructure is there, you can simply use that. It can be easily stored at room temperature, can replace conventional fuel, and it is a better option for shipping, road and air travel. For example, let me tell you CNG, right? CNG. So is in CNG there is zero emission? Obviously no, emission is there, but in CNG it's very minimal. I mean better than diesel and petrol. Okay, better than diesel and petrol. So similarly, this E-methanol would be that alternative. It's better than diesel and petrol with very less amount of carbon emission. Challenges, production cost. E-methanol is still more expensive than fossil-based methanol due to the high cost of renewable electricity and limited electrolysis efficiency. So initially, since it is in this initial stage, the cost of this fuel is very high. So probably in due course of time, the new technology will be evolved, जोटा कि cost को minimize करी परिबे. Scale up. Infrastructure and technical strength required to achieve large scale, sustainable, cost effective production, policy and incentives, the development and implementation of carbon pricing, subsidies, and investment incentive policies are still in the early stages. So it is at the early stage. Okay. Next, wholesale price inflation. The wholesale price inflation in India fell to 0.85% in April 2025 from 2.05 in March 2025. Okay, 0.85 has been declined. This decline is mainly due to reduction in the price of fuel and primary commodities. Fuel in the sense, if you see the crude oil price, I think you must have seen in the news, crude oil price in the international market has significantly declined. But from the consumer point of view, there is no such decline because the government is not reducing the tax. So since this is calculated at the wholesale level, that is at the crude oil price at the international level, so that's why it's saying there is a decline in the inflation due to fuel and primary commodities. But if you see from the consumer point of view, there is no such decline. Okay, so there is a difference between, I think you know this basic concepts, wholesale price index and consumer price index. When we measure inflation, we do measure from the CPI point of view, that is consumer price index point of view. Okay. What is wholesale price index? The wholesale price index measures the average change in prices of goods that are sold in bulk by wholesalers to other businesses. Okay, so sold in bulk quantity, because consumer, we consumer are purchasing products at a retail level, but the, let's say, the producer is selling the shopkeeper or a shopkeeper who is dealing with the wholesale market, say bulk रहने की assume. You are purchasing 1 kg mango, but that person is purchasing, let's say 50 kg, 60 kg mangoes. So that price would be the wholesale, but our price would be the consumer level or CPI. It reflects inflation at the producer level, not at the consumer level. Okay. Prices before goods reach the final consumer. Publication and administration, it is published monthly, just remember it. It is published monthly by the Economic Advisors Office, Ministry of Commerce and Industry. Economic Advisors Office by the Ministry of Commerce and Industry. WPI calculation and base year. Base year is 2011 and 12. Base year is 2011 and 12 based on the prices of 697 commodity groups. Just remember this, 697 commodity groups divided into 3 major categories. What are those 3 major categories? Primary articles 22.62%, fuel and power 13.15%, manufactured products 64.23%. They can simply ask you in the question in the form of statement that primary articles having the highest percentage. No, it's not primary article, since it is the wholesale price index. It has the manufactured products which is having the highest percentage. If you see the consumer price index, primary articles which is used for a consumer, that is having the highest percentage. Clear? There is a difference. And if you see the CPI and WPI, CPI is calculated from the consumer point of view, WPI is calculated from the producer point of view. Clear? And there is a price difference between the producer point of view and consumer point of view. Because at the producer level, a product might be sold at ₹10, but when we purchase it from a shop as a consumer, the prices must be 12 rupees or 13 rupees. That is, there is a difference between these two, right? So there is a difference. Another difference, let me tell you, in the wholesale price index, only goods are calculated. Only goods are calculated. As far as consumer price index, both goods and services are calculated. And the government of India from 2014 onwards, government of India from 2014 onwards has started calculating inflation through CPI, consumer price index. Clear? Because consumer price index provides us a better measure to know the inflation in the market. Clear? Next, features of WPI, measures price changes of goods only, not services. This is one difference I just told you. Reflects price trends at a retail level. Reflects price trends at a retail level, while consumer price index measure consumer level. At retail level means when the producer is selling to a shopkeeper, to a wholesaler, not the consumer directly. When it's sold at consumer directly, there is a difference. And when we say not services, for example, what are services? Transportation cost, right? Services you are availing, let's say you are going to a salon for haircut, that is a service. The education, right? If you join a course at the StudyIQ, that is a service. You have to pay the 18% tax. So services aspects are not dealt by the WPI. This is one of the drawback of WPI. That's why government has decided from 2014 onwards, let's switch to consumer price index for a better measure of inflation. Okay. So it's published monthly, useful for industry cost analysis, but less commonly used by the RBI for monetary policy. Rather, RBI uses the CPI for its monetary policy. Next, Pakistan expressed willingness to restart Indus Water Treaty talks with India. Background of Indus Water Treaty, I think you must have seen in the news. Background of the Indus Water Treaty. The Indus Water Treaty, brokered by the World Bank in 1960, allocates Eastern River to Ravi, Beas and Satluj to India, Western River, Indus, Jhelum, Chenab to Pakistan. It has withstood multiple conflicts between these two nations. Because every time there is an attack from Pakistan, so first response of Indian government, we will withheld the Indus Water Treaty. That is why it's saying it has withstood multiple conflicts between these two countries, neighboring countries. India's suspension of the Indus Water Treaty. Following a terrorist attack in Pahalgaon, Jammu and Kashmir, on April 23, 2025, India suspended Indus Water Treaty, citing national security concern. This move includes stopping the flow of water on the Chenab River from the Baghliyar Dam. From the Chenab River. Pakistan's response. Pakistan viewed India's suspension of the treaty as a serious threat to its water security and decided to send a formal notice to India demanding reasons for the unilateral suspension. Okay. Although we have discussed it earlier as well. Legal avenues and explored by Pakistan. Pakistan is considering challenging India's suspension of the Indus Water Treaty through international legal forums, including the World Bank, the Permanent Court of Arbitration, and International Court of Justice, citing violation of 1969 Vienna Convention of the Law of Treaties. Now they have expressed the willingness to restart the Indus Water Treaty. India's call for treaty modification. India has served formal notices to Pakistan seeking a review and modification of Indus Water Treaty under Article 12, Clause 3, citing fundamental changes in circumstances including population growth and environmental concern. So we need to review the Indus Water Treaty, so we need to review the water use. Pakistan's willingness to engage. Despite tension, Pakistan has expressed readiness to discuss India's concern within existing framework of the Indus Water Treaty, emphasizing a permanent Indus Commission in resolving issue. International mediation effort. The United States played a role in mediating ceasefire between the India and Pakistan, as we have seen in the recent past when there was a ceasefire between these two tensions. So if you see the Indus Water Treaty, it was signed in 1960, brokered by the World Bank, or World Bank was the mediator. If you see the river allocation, Eastern River, Ravi, Beas, Satluj allocated to India, Western River, Indus, Jhelum, Chenab to the Pakistan. Okay, India has the exclusive rights of over the Eastern River. Pakistan has the rights over the Western River. India permitted limited uses such as non-conjunctive capabilities, that is hydroelectric power and restricted irrigation on the western side as well. The western part भी हमारा share अच्छी, but it's very limited. Okay. Infrastructure development. The treaty facilitated the construction of dams, canals, notably Tarvela Dam on the Indus and Mangla Dam on the Jhelum to support Pakistan's water needs. Okay. And this you can see. One liner. Central Consumer Protection Authority. The Central Consumer Protection Authority has issued notices to Amazon India, Flipkart, Buy India, ITSE and Flag Company and Flag Corporation over sale of Pakistan flag and related merchandise. Okay, so they are selling the Pakistan flag. The CCPA has been established under the Consumer Protection Act 2019, came into force from 24 July 2020. with the objective of regulating matters relating to violation of consumers' rights, unfair trade practices, false or misleading advertisements which are detrimental to the interest of the consumer as a class and general public. So since tension is there, so the notice has been sent to these e-commerce companies not to sell this Pakistan products, flag and all. Operation Black Forest. 31 Maoists killed in Kurgagu Talu Hills on Chhattisgarh, Telangana border under the Operation Black Forest. It is highly intensity counter-terrorism mission, specifically targeting the Maoist stronghold, Maoist leaders. Okay, and this operation was lasted for 21 days. This operation was carried out in the Kuragu Talu Hills, which are located in the Chhattisgarh Telangana border. Objective to destroy the Naxal headquarter, operational infrastructure, neutralize the top Maoist leader, and to realize India's goal of eliminating left-wing extremism by March 31st, 2026. International Family Day is observed every year on the 15th May. Just remember this, Family Day, 15th May, proclaimed by the United Nations to honor importance of families and the social, cultural, economic, ethical contribution. 1993, United Nations General Assembly passed a resolution declaring 15th May as the International Day of Family, that is in 1993. Day was first observed in 1994, International Year of Families declared by the United Nations. Objective, awareness of the social structure or social institution, values and families. Family is a social institution. To encourage global debate on social, economic and demographic issues related to the families. Bhargavastra, let's see, India has successfully test-fired low-cost counter-drone micro-missile system, Bhargavastra, developed by the Solar Defense and Aerospace Limited, Bhargavastra. The system is designed to detect and effectively destroy enemy drone threats, including drone swarms. Partnership and development, the system has been developed in the collaboration between SDAL, that is Solar Defense Aerospace Limited, and Economic Explosive Limited. Capable of detecting small aerial drones beyond 6 km and micro-missile arsenal capable of firing 64 micro-missiles simultaneously, allowing rapid engagement of multiple targets. Salvo launching, successful test firing of 2 missiles in the salvo mode within 2 seconds. So we are developing more such kind of equipments, the kind of geopolitical tensions we have. Neeraj Chopra conferred honorary rank of Lieutenant Colonel by Indian Army. 2017, Neeraj Chopra was commissioned as Naib Subedar in the Rajputana Rifles Regiment in Indian Army. Promotion, he was promoted to the rank of Subedar in 2021 and then to Subedar Major in 2022. Honorary rank of Lieutenant Colonel. After winning the gold medal in javelin throw at the Tokyo Olympics, he was promoted to the honorary rank of Lieutenant Colonel in 2023. Okay. So Padma Shri 2022, Neeraj Chopra was awarded India's 4th highest civilian honor, Padma Shri. President Murmu seeks clarity from Supreme Court on timelines for assent to state bills. Supreme Court's landmark judgment, 8 April 2025, the Supreme Court in a significant ruling prescribed a 3-month timeline for the President to decide on state bills reserved by the governors, addressing the constitutional silence on such timeliness under Article 201. If Governor reserves a state bill for the assent of the President, so Supreme Court decided within the 3 months, the response must be given. Okay. So on that judgment which has been given by the Supreme Court, the President has sought the clarification from the Supreme Court, because this judgment of the Supreme Court has been criticized widely among the legal experts. Why? Because it generally says this is something, a kind of judicial overreach on the executive and the legislative matter. Okay. Governance timeline for assent. The court mandated that governors must act on bill passed by the state legislature within 1 month, emphasizing need to prevent indefinite delays in the legislative process. Okay. So governor gotte mas vitre se taro action nabo, because we have seen in case of Tamil Nadu controversy, Tamil Nadu state controversy. Presidential reference under 143. President Draupadi Murmu, invoking Article 143 sought the Supreme Court's advisory opinion on the whether the judiciary can impose such timelines on constitutional authorities like the president or governor, because Supreme Court has this advisory jurisdiction. Advice is made to the president under Article 143. So under that article, president has sought the advice from the Supreme Court. Justiciability of inaction. So Supreme Court held that prolonged inaction by the president or governor of state will be subject to judicial review. It's not absolute power with these two constitutional posts, that is president and governor. Implication of the federalism. Evolving dynamics of center-state relation in India highlights judiciary's role in ensuring accountability and preventing executive overreach. So this is what I am talking about. They say the judiciary overreach is there. Potential of judicial overreach. Judicial overreach or judicial activism. There are two concepts. Detail discuss karibi. Judicial activism, judicial overreach. Judicial activism means, suppose sometimes judiciary advises or give instruction to the executive to take a particular action, right? And finally, executive comes with, or legislature comes with a law with respect to that subject. For example, same-sex marriage upare, there was a case in Supreme Court. So what Supreme Court says, the marriage is something which comes under the executive decision. So let them decide. We have support, we are supporting that, but what should be that law? Executive would decide and or legislature would decide. But sometimes Supreme Court comes with its own aspect. Same-sex marriage is allowed on this ground. That means Supreme Court is trying to make a law. Here you can say this is judicial overreach. In the previous case, it was activism. Given the advice, given the direction to executive to make a law. This is activism. Overreach when judiciary is itself making the law. Overreach. So in this case, there is an opinion among the legal experts, the Supreme Court is overreaching this power over executive and legislature. Okay. So need for constitutional clarity. The absence of explicit timelines in Article 200 and 201 points to the necessity for constitutional amendments or legislative measures to clarify, define the roles and responsibilities of constitutional authorities in the legislative process. Okay. Odisha news. New EV policy in Odisha, Deputy CM KV Singhdeo. Mandatory EV adoption in government department. New policy mandates that all government departments transition to electric vehicles for official use. The move is intended to set a precedent and encourage wider adoption of EVs among the public. EV requirement for secretariat access. If you want to come to the inside the secretariat premises, you have to come with the EV. Incentive for EV purchase. Increase EV adoption up to 20,000 for 2-wheelers, 30,000 for 3-wheelers, and 1.5 lakh for the 4-wheelers. This is subsidies. This incentive aims to make EVs more accessible to the government employees. Expansion of charging infrastructure. Recognizing the need for robust infrastructure, the government plans to establish fast charging stations and battery swapping facilities at strategic location, including fuel station, shopping malls, and residential complex. Solarization of government building, another initiative under this EV program. Raj Bhavan's transition to net zero energy. That means they are simply transforming the solar power system, solar panel system. Through solar, the electricity can be consumed. Public engagement and subsidy awareness, actively encouraging citizens to embrace clean energy solution by highlighting availability of generous subsidies. CM flags of Tiranga Yatra. Odisha Chief Minister Mohan Charan Majhi flagged up Tiranga Yatra in Bhubaneswar to honor the Indian Armed Forces. The rally, also known as the Parakram Shobha Yatra, celebrated the success of the Operation Sindoor. Thousands participated in showcasing national unity and patriotism. Okay, armed forces, it will enhance the moral of the armed forces, emphasize the importance of the national security and collective responsibility. The Yatra included cultural programs and speeches highlighting India's defense achievements. Such initiative foster a sense of pride and solidarity. Okay. Cabinet approves merger of Mamata scheme with the PMMBY. So initially it was a Mamata scheme for the women. That is, under the Mamata scheme, there are provisions of what? If there is a financial help or financial incentive regarding what? For a birth of girl child, it was 10,000. For a birth of male child as well, it was 10,000. But now this has been merged with this PMM, Pradhan Mantri Matru Bandhana Yojana. For the girl child, 12,000 of help would be given, financial help. Male child pai, semti 10,000 hi achi. Okay. Apart from that, PVTC community ko pai bhi apankar achi kono help. PVTC communities ko pai bhi semti 10,000 and 12,000 bhi diya jibo. Now, जो माने हेल्थ वर्कर्स अछन, खास करके अंगनवाड़ी वर्कर एंड हेल्पर, सेमान को आगरू 100 and 150 रो फाइनेंशियल इंसेंटिव दिया जाउथला, बर्तन 200 to 250 रो इंसेंटिव सेमान को दिया जिवो. ओके. Asit Mahapatra appointed as the ORERA chairperson. Asit Kumar Mahapatra is an alumnus of IIT Madras, former Indian Revenue Service officer. He previously served as the Chief Commissioner of Income Tax. Leadership transition, Mahapatra succeeds Siddhanta Das, who resigned on 28 February 2025, just before the completing his 5-year term. Restoration of ORERA functionality. The appointments come after a period during which ORERA was rendered non-functional due to the retirement of the senior members, including acting chairperson Gopal Chandra Patnaik and members Pradeep Biswal. Okay. Odisha real estate जोटा अपन को अछि, real estate agency जोटा is responsible for addressing home buyers' grievances, overseeing the real estate projects, registration, ensuring transparency in the real estate sector in Odisha. Expectation from new leadership. Real estate activist Bimalendu Pradhan emphasized the need for the new team to strengthen the implementation of the sale agreements, enforce quarterly project reporting, conduct forensic audit, and ensure strict project registration scrutiny. Okay. So these are few expectations from these new officials. Minister Samanta calls for global handloom exposure. Cultural significance. Minister Samanta underscored that Odisha's handloom and handicrafts are vital for the cultural symbols, global market reach. He stressed the importance of the expanding global presence of Odisha's handloom industry, digitally promote kariba, e-commerce platform through it, artisans welfare, the welfare of those artisans or those karigars, Vishwakarma, what we call, marketing strategy. We need a market of those products, international events and domestic events as well, so that more and more promotion can be made, like Bharat Textile 2025. MCQs, if you want. Department of Economic Affairs, the Union Finance Ministry has recently released a draft document of climate finance taxonomy. It is a mission board approach to India's development and tackle climate change. Kona answer? First ठीक अछि, first statement, okay, and second bit ठीक अछि. Answer would be C, I guess. Everybody is agree with that. Next, statistical report. All India crude birth stood at 19.3% per 1,000 people in 2021 and falling at a rate of 2.12%. Okay, 1621. So this is wrong. This is 1.12%. Report makes it clear the rate of decline in birth rate in Tamil Nadu, Delhi and Kerala has twice that of national average. This statement is correct. So answer is only 2. The championship will be organized by the National Esports Federation. The championship will be held from 28th May to 3rd June 2025 at the VK Play Arena in Moscow. So this is between the BRICS countries, I guess. Okay, or this is not by international, but in case of India. So this statement is incorrect. This is correct. So answer is only 2. Next, National Esports Championship, the world's first commercial scale. I think this is incorrect. I mean, statement नुहे एटा होची E-methanol started in Denmark, made by mixing hydrogen carbon dioxide. It can be stored at high temperature. What would be the answer? Stored by high temperature. Is it so? I think only 1 and 2. Okay, stored at high temperature semti kichi ame janne. Next, wholesale inflation in India fell 1.8% in April 2025 from 2.05. So this is only 8.5, not 1.85. So wrong. Measures average change in the prices of goods. So this is correct. Answer is B only. Okay. Indus Water Treaty. Can either India or Pakistan propose modification to treaty? Article 12, Clause 3. Under which article Indian Constitution can President seek the Supreme Court advisory? Article 143. What is a key feature of Odisha's new electric vehicle policy regarding government employees? Only employees with hybrid vehicles entry passes are issued, exclude employees using electric vehicles. Employees must carpool. No restriction. So answer is B. Entry passes, only electric vehicles will be allowed. Financial incentive, the birth of a girl child under MERS, Mamata and PMBY. This is 12,000. Okay. Who has been appointed new chairperson? This is Asit Kumar Mahapatra. Tiranga Yatra flagged off. Honor to the Indian Armed Forces. And Minister Samantha called for global handloom, enhance international market reach. Okay. So these are mains question. You just go through that. Out the last day रो जो question थला तार आंसर मॉडल आंसर मुझे मेंशन कर दी छी आपण ताको देखि नेबे. ओके ठीक अछि. बाकी ये आरंभ बैच म आपण कहि छी. सो पीडीएफ आपण एडु पाई जिवे टेलीग्राम रु फेसबुक रे इंस्टा मध्ये फॉलो करि परिबे. ओके थैंक यू.